Welcome to another edition of Inside PressBox. I'm your host, Stan the Fan. Charles, you know, they say that timing is everything. Well, in this case, we have the timing of the end game in the NFL's longest work stoppage, the death of legendary Baltimore Colts Hall of Fame tight end John Mackey, and the newest issue of PressBox hitting the streets with a powerful story about the life and career of the average NFL player. Combining all that to provide our viewers what we feel will be a provocative program. We'll have the man who penned Led to Slaughter, local writer Michael Anth. We'll also hear from X Games superstar and Annapolis native Travis Pastrana. But first, our first guest, in addition to being an all-pro safety for the Baltimore Colts, is one former player who is active in fighting for retired players' rights and needs for financial assistance from the NFL and NFLPA, and I'm proud to call him my friend, Bruce Laird. Bruce, thank you for coming in, first of all.
My pleasure, Stan. Always a pleasure to be with you.
Quick speech. Loved you as a player. Loved you as kind of a co-host on our pre- and post-game stuff that we did. Always thought you were a fun-loving guy, which you are.
Oh, yeah.
But didn't know the depths to which this issue of players' needs and rights after they're thrown to the side. Didn't realize the depths of your passion for this issue.
Well, Stan, thank you. And it really comes from the Baltimore Colts family. That tradition was started back when Lenny Moore, Jim Mutchler, the great Art Donovan, Gino Marchetti, John Unitas, these players that started this franchise here in the early 50s, and it grew into probably the best franchise ever up until the years I came into the league in the early 70s. And with that,
the pre-Irsay Colts.
Correct. And with that, these men have stayed here in town. They made the Baltimore and Maryland their community and their home. They've made their families here. They married here. They raised their children here. And it went from generation to generation every 10 years. And I was very fortunate to play in Baltimore during that time.
Now, what caused your passion for this issue of the players with dementia and other injuries and financial need, not want? That's something you always bring up, and I'm happy you make the distinction. But it was the late John Mackey and what he was going through when you realized the severity of this problem that got you passionate about this.
Absolutely. And Sylvia brought John back, I believe, at late 2004. We had the opportunity as his teammates to see him in early 2005. Realized that John was fighting this disease. Sylvia brought him home for familiarity, have the family close. And with John's background as a union president and the first president of the combined AFL and NFL when it merged in the early 70s, we just thought it was an absolute thing to do to go to the league and the NFLPA and say, listen, it's not only John Mackey, but others are suffering the same way. Do you know about it? What are you doing about it? There's studies about it that multiple concussions do lead to early dementia and CTE, and we just got stonewalled. So you just don't do that to a defensive back, Stan. You just don't.
Not named Bruce Laird.
Yeah, you just don't lie to me, man. You don't play me. You just got to tell me like it is, and I was never told that, so we fought our own crusade.
Now, you fought your own crusade through the Tagliabue and Upshaw years, the end of both of their careers in the NFL, and Gene Upshaw has passed on.
Right.
But Roger Goodell, has he been a bit more truthful, a bit more helpful, a bit more forthcoming?
Absolutely. When we started this, we knew both the league and the NFLPA, the union, had to help us. These institutions control the money. Retired players have no legal rights to anything that goes on right now. But we do have major needs. We have players that have no pension, no health care, physically really beat up because of this game. So I went to both institutions. I went to the league in writing, and I went to the union. The only one that answered my letter was Roger Goodell. Not only did he answer my letter, he also gave me an audience about 3.5 years ago. I sent the same exact letters certified to both institutions, the league and the union, and I'm dealing with the only gentleman that answered my letter.
Right.
And I'm called a rat by my own union.
By your own brethren.
By my own brethren, because why wouldn't you go to the NFLPA? Why didn't you come to us?
Right, because they're stonewalling you.
Because you never answered my letter. This is a business situation.
Has there been any improvement? Now, there was an improvement from Tagliabue to Goodell, but there's been no improvement in the relationship since Upshaw to Damaris Smith, the same kind of...
It all depends. There's been a lot of changes in the union, quite frankly. They have done some things. They have some representatives that have elected by the body of the union to take part in some of the talks. That's been a big change. It was brought on by people like myself and the great Mike Dick and Harry Carson. I can go on. And even before John Mackey that started all this. But the fact of the matter is, what we're looking for is an institution of retired players that can talk to both the union and the league about our needs. And I get this from the great John Unitas, because he told me this in front of his kids one time. He said, listen, I get this all the time. My kids come up to me, Daddy, Daddy, I want. Sat him down and said, Chad, Joey, tell me what you need, because what you want is another issue. I'll help you with your needs, but not your wants.
Tell me a little bit about, and this program is kind of dedicated to John Mackey and those that are suffering through the same things. Tell me a little bit, we got less than 2 minutes. Tell me about John Mackey. What made him so special as a player, and what made him so special as a man?
Well, he understood the game. That's number one. And he understood the business of the game. And when he was brought into the union situation, when the AFL and the NFL was merging, he got the real piece of how the owners and the union hierarchy work. And he wasn't going to be fooled by it. He wasn't going to be hoodwinked. He wasn't going to be, just a come-on kind of guy. And they threw some big words at him, and he went out of the room, and he asked somebody, what does all that mean? And they told him in perpetuity means like forever. And he goes, no mas. You know what I mean? You're not getting me. So he got it, he understood it, and he fought for it, Stan. He had the intestinal fortitude to say, not on my watch. And that's what our players here in Baltimore wanted to do with this union, this league for John. Not on our watch, not as our Sylvia's here in Baltimore, are you going to hoodwink us?
It's maybe the greatest game you've ever played, seriously.
Probably is, without a doubt.
I appreciate your
My
friendship, and you're doing a good job. Keep up the good fight.
Thank you. We will. We'll do that.
All right. All the NFL lockout talk has gotten to some of our Facebook fans. Tim said, I'm annoyed when I hear someone say that we're facing a year without football. There's plenty of football on its way. High schools, small colleges, big colleges, Pop Warner, and it's still real football. Fans can go watch real football. Thanks, Tim. You can join our conversation too. Just visit PressBoxOnline.com and click on the Facebook logo to become a fan of PressBox. When we return, I'll be joined by Michael Amft, a senior writer for Johns Hopkins and the author of this month's cover story in PressBox, Led to Slaughter. This portion of Inside PressBox has been brought to you by the Maryland Lottery's Double Play Scratch Off. Scratch the front, peel the back, plus enter non-winning tickets at mdlottery.com/doubleplay for a chance to win cash and great Orioles prizes.